Ministry of Youth, Culture and Sports is truly delighted to support the work of the Bermuda Arts Council and their aim to honor deserving Bermudians who have given us so many years of enjoyment. The Arts Council Lifetime Achievement Award is indeed a special and important occasion on Bermuda's cultural and artistic calendar. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate and recognize the artistic giants of our country. As the Minister of Youth, Culture and Sports, it's indeed my absolute honor to recognize 3 deserving Bermudians who have inspired so many of us with their artistic creativity and passion. We join together tonight in honoring Peter Nash, Sharon and Hayward. Through their artistic talents, these individuals have enlightened, uplifted, and entertained us by providing us with joy and inspiration. Each of our distinguished recipients have, in one way or another, shaped our community with their creativity, commitment, and passion. And we are grateful for their contributions to Bermuda. So on behalf of the government of Bermuda, congratulations. We are honored to celebrate you all. Thank you very much.
Bermuda Arts Council is committed to promoting public awareness of the value of the arts to our community. Throughout the year, the Arts Council supports individual artists, arts organizations, and students in all genres of the arts through our grant programming, which provides financial assistance to help facilitate artistic endeavors. We are proud to support local creatives who are contributing to Bermuda's cultural fabric through art. We are here today to present what is arguably the highlight of our calendar, Bermuda Arts Council's annual awards. This is our opportunity to acknowledge and honor Bermuda's pillars of the arts. Lifetime Achievement Awards are presented to persons who are respected in their art form and who have created a significant body of original work that is representative of the Bermudian spirit. Founders Awards are presented to those persons who have been pioneers in their respective art form and thus have been mentors or role models for their fellow artists and the generations to follow. We are excited to present the 2020 Bermuda Arts Council Awards.
During the last 60 years, Peter Nash has lived in Bermuda. His face and rich baritone voice are familiar to those of us enjoying the numerous live musical events on island. He has performed as soloist or chorus member or both. He has been a member of the Gilbert and Sullivan Society of Bermuda since 1973, the year after its inception. He has sung in many choirs, including Bermuda Philharmonic Society, St. Mark's Church Choir, Jeffrey Tankard Foundation Choir, various choirs under the direction of Marjorie Pettit, Bermuda Chamber Choir, the Dalesford Singers, Bermuda Ambassador Choir, and City Singers. He has had solos in 3 Bermuda Festival performances, and until 2017, he was a director of the Bermuda School of Music. Peter received an Artists and Artisans Award from the Department of Cultural Affairs in 1999. As Miss Ruth Thomas, former Cultural Affairs officer, says, Peter has helped to keep theater and musical concerts alive by maintaining professional standards in the countless performances under his belt. It is therefore entirely fitting that he is honored this year with the Bermuda Arts Council's 2020 Lifetime Achievement Award.
All of the almost 60 years that I've been here in both theatre and more recently just in music with the Bermuda Chamber Choir, the Church Choir, previously with the Bermuda Philharmonic Society Choir. There have been various choirs over the decades, and it is my love and I enjoy it enormously. It is what I do. And it is just about everything to me now.
Peter's love of chorale music goes back to his early years. Born in England in 1942, he had a British Army family background, which meant he had an itinerant childhood. After World War II, he remembers living in a Yorkshire village, Thornton-le-Dale, where his mother sang the role of Jill all alone in Edward German's Merry England for the Pickering Operatic Society. His father was a good actor, but it was his mother who was musical. She loved singing spirituals and always sang around the house. As a result, Peter grew up with a love of Paul Robeson's songs and the opera Porgy and Bess. Later on, they lived in Catterick, Yorkshire, where Peter, aged 11, joined the local choir at St. Oswald's Church. Although he never had formal voice training, during the next 3 years he gained a thorough grounding in and love of church music, in addition to the satisfaction of being paid 10 shillings a quarter for regular attendance, plus an extra florin, a 2-shilling bit, if asked to sing at a wedding. It was during this time that he sang his first solos as a boy soprano and followed his parents' involvement with amateur dramatics. At the all-boys Richmond Grammar School, he played Olivia in Twelfth Night. After his father was posted to Germany, Peter was so involved with music and theater at his new boarding school in Wilhelmshaven that he wonders how he managed to pass his GCEs. While singing in the chapel choir, he sang leading tenor roles in musicals as well as playing leading roles in several plays. In 1959, he embarked on an 18-month training course at Cable and Wireless Engineering College at Porthcurno, Cornwall. In 1961, aged 18, he was posted to Bermuda, where he would spend the rest of his life. Immediately, the world of amateur music and theater opened up to him. He became a member of BMDS, performing in a number of plays, and was snapped up by Donald Evans, director of the famous That Somerset Lot. He also performed in the Smith's Parish Review and directed one of them in the 1960s. His Bermuda singing career began when he joined Bermuda Philharmonic Society and St. Mark's Choir, his home base. His musical experience as a schoolboy is significant, although he never learned to read music. To this day, he sings entirely by ear. He has benefited greatly from the mentoring of various choir directors at school and in adult years. In Bermuda, the late Jean Motier, organist and choir director of St. Mark's for 26 years, took him under her wing and coached him for his first major concert role. He performed Elijah in Mendelssohn's famed oratorio, Elijah, conducted by Leslie Betteridge, then conductor of Bermuda Philharmonic. In later years, he was coached by Barbara Garton, John York Skinner, Ryan Ellis, and Jane Farge, mostly when he was preparing material for performance. Often, he would learn from visiting professionals. Many times, Peter was the only local male soloist, and as Miss Ruth Thomas points out, compared favorably with them. On one notable occasion in mid-1970, he performed Rossini's Stabat Mater with Bermudians Dr. Gary Burgess, Joy Blackett, and American contralto Florence Warner, all three professional singers. He puts it bluntly, I learned on the job. Peter has performed in so many events that it is impossible to list them all. His favorites bear mentioning. An invaluable singer in Gilbert and Sullivan productions, he has performed many roles, Pooh Bah in The Mikado being his absolute favorite. He sang it twice. As for concert music, the most profound are the baritone solos in Brahms' A German Requiem. He also loves Mozart's Requiem. However, it is his first solo role of Elijah which stands out. He sang it twice more in his middle years and ideally would love to sing it again. Chorale singing has always given Peter the most satisfaction. How fortunate for us that it has. Bermuda would be so much the poorer without his steady commitment to musical excellence.
I would just like to say how pleasantly surprised and somewhat amazed I was to get a call recently from Jennifer from the Bermuda Arts Council telling me that I'd been awarded the a Lifetime Achievement Award, and something I had never expected and never even dreamed of. And I would like to thank the Bermuda Arts Council, Jennifer Phillips, Chairman, and all the members, Dr. Kim Dismont Robinson, and Dr. Ernest Peets, who is the Minister in charge of the Department of Cultural Affairs, as we think of it, and say how thankful, how grateful I am, and how I shall treasure this award for the remainder of my years. Thank you so much.
Renowned Bermudian artist, formerly known as Sharon Wilson, has legally changed her name to Sharon Aliyah Muhammad. She is the recipient of a Bermuda Arts Council Founders Award for 2020. This award is presented to pioneers in their art form. Her subject matter and media have certainly made Sharon a pioneer and role model. When she first returned from Massachusetts College of Art in 1979, few people were interested in the portraits of Black Bermudians that she depicted. Instead, they seemed to prefer picturesque renditions of Bermuda cottages, but she persevered to acclaim. Since the 1980s, Sharon's pastels and, more recently, her encaustics have graced the walls of exhibitions, public institutions, and private homes. For instance, her pastels, each in his own way, and stonecutters hang at the Bermuda National Gallery, while who will watch over them is outside the family court in the Dame Lois Brown Evans building. Her image of stonecutters is featured on the 70-cent Bermuda stamp. Her pastel images have also illustrated several books, most notably The Day Gogo Went to Vote by South African Eleanor Sisulu, published by Little Brown in 1996. It received many awards, including the Jane Addams Honor Picture Book Award in 1997. Because of her significant contribution to art, in 2008, Sharon received the Queen's Certificate and Badge of Honor. Sharon's paintings broke ground in Bermuda's art world because they celebrated and continue to celebrate relationships in an authentic Bermuda context. We see people at work, neighbors sharing and talking. In her art, we often see moments of intimacy among mothers and daughters, and between grandparents and grandchildren. Those moments, so beautifully evoked in her art, transcend Bermuda to universal appeal. She is also known in the international art world, having been featured in International Artist magazine. In addition to her artworks, Sharon's commitment to teaching has made her a role model. Many adults have studied under her direction at her gallery in Southampton, some of them for years. In the 1970s and early 1980s, she taught at Prospect Secondary School for Girls and has taught intermittently at Sands Secondary and at Paget, Heron Bay, Dalton Tucker, and Somerset primary schools. She was a peripatetic art resource for all educational levels and an activities coordinator in what is now the Extension Ward in King Edward Memorial Hospital. She experienced different aspects of society which would be important sources of inspiration. Sharon's time with primary school children inspired many of her child paintings, for which she is most famous. She has a deep affinity with children, wanting them to have a greater appreciation of their value and to have an excitement about their future. She has always wanted them to have a mirror of who they really are. From that desire results her iconic painting, Secrets, depicting in pastel two primary school girls sharing confidences. Sharon recalls, Black people embraced it because it was about Black people. It was about us, culturally as well. We were not urban American or West Indian. We were us in our own environment.
That sort of explains a little bit about my journey as an artist and trying to find my footing and to try to be a mirror that holds up for the country, an opportunity for them to see themselves, even though it's through my eyes, to see something of themselves.
In the last 10 years, she has painted her gold collection, featuring black boys aged between 5 and 14. These images mirror the innocence of their inner world. Prints of those artworks are included in a self-published coffee table book. Lately, she has created a series featuring children wearing paper hats. Never afraid of technology, Sharon has made digital videos using her imagery, adding a song or a poem to engage children's attention. Malachi's hat is one such creation. One may assume that Sharon was a brilliant child artist. She says that was not so, although she appreciated the quiet and solitude experienced when drawing. She began to think about art seriously when she took her GCE O-level in the subject at the Technical Institute. During a brief and unhappy spell at an English boarding school, Sharon spent hours making art cards. A turning point came when her aunt, Veronica Phillips, validated her by saying how good these cards were and motivated her to attend college. Yet, college proved a disappointment. As Sharon says, art college did not help me as a black woman to see a path I could easily follow. Art making holds a place of prominence in Western culture, but as a black woman, finding a space to naturally fit proved to be a cloudy and obscure way through the woods. It took years to find my footing. There is no doubt that she found it, and in doing so has forged a path for younger generations of Bermudian artists to follow. Regarding her body of work, parent and teacher Shirley Kelly says it well. Thank you, Sharon, for reminding me to find my humanity in how I was created. Thank you for using your gift to make us human when some would rather we were other. Sharon should have the last word, as her website declares. She has always given us art to uplift, transform, and inspire.
I'm grateful to have been awarded the 2020 Founder Award by the Bermuda Arts Council and the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs. There are so many people that I feel I owe a debt of gratitude and thanks to. First of all, I'd like to thank Allah for giving me the spirit to spend a life creating paintings which I hope will inspire, uplift, and transform the way we see ourselves. I'd like to thank the Council and the Department of Cultural and Community Affairs for recognizing the effort. You know, we all hope that we will be seen, especially by our own community, and recognized for what we try to do, what we really want to do with our hearts. And I appreciate the fact that you noticed and that you found me worthy of this award. And I really want to thank the children of Bermuda, because they really have embraced the art that I've done. They see themselves reflected in it, and that's really what it's all about. So thank you, Bermuda, and I hope that with whatever is the remaining time of my life, that the greater work that I'm here to do, I will find the means to get it done. I'm not sure what's next for me. I have some ideas rolling around, but haven't really solidified themselves yet. But there's nothing that's brought me more joy than to paint the people and the spirit of Bermuda. Thank you.
For the past 40 years, Wendell Hayward has been a shining light in Bermuda's world of music. He is a recipient of the Bermuda Arts Council's Founders Award for 2020. He specializes on the saxophone and is an exceptional woodwind player. Shine is also an accomplished composer, teacher, event organizer, director, entrepreneur, and busker. He is a familiar figure to many people in Bermuda who have been surprised on their birthdays or other celebratory events by his serenades performed on his gleaming saxophone. He is better known as Shine, yet the nickname, he explained, was a hand-me-down from my brother, who got it through his football playing because his legs and his head were always well greased. The sun reflected rays from his head. When I went to Berkeley, they called me Little Shine. While music was always a part of his life, it wasn't his first idea for a career. He wanted to be an architect, at one point, and at another, a lawyer. At age 15, he had a New Year's Eve gig in the Jungle Room, which was on the site of Windsor Place, Queen Street. As he puts it, I had fun, and I got paid. That was it. Finally, I decided to be a musician. Spiritually, Shine always was a musician, having from an early age been brought up in the New Testament Church of God, where he was known as one of Fubler's boys because he was in the choir, and the church band was under the Reverend Charles Foster Fubler. His first musical mentors were Miss Waverly Bean, who directed the youth choir, and Miss Dorothy Tuzo, who was the organist at the church. In addition, he had weekly lessons with Mrs. Ada Joel. He learned music at the Berkeley Institute as well. All the time he was gaining more contacts and mentors, including saxophonist Artie Simmons and the famous orchestra leader Gandhi Burgess. Before I went to college, my goal was to play in his orchestra, which performed in the Empire Room at the then Southampton Princess, Shine explains. In the meantime, he was also becoming proficient on oboe, flute, and clarinet. Eventually, he attended the prestigious Berklee College of Music, becoming seriously into jazz. After graduating in 1980, Shine returned to Bermuda to fulfill his dream of playing with the Gandhi Burgess Orchestra. That meant he got to work with internationally known musicians such as Diane Carroll, Frankie Avalon, the Drifters, and Robert Guillaume, to name but a few. Shine's musical achievements are extensive. He is famous for playing with internationally known orchestras such as the Quincy Jones Orchestra, as well as the Gandhi Burgess Orchestra. His own group, Shine Hayward and Friends, which he led for 10 years, was twice recognized as the #1 jazz band on the island. In 1989, his group traveled to the United States with the Department of Tourism, visiting 15 states, and by 1991 released their first CD entitled Friends Are Forever. He has also composed his own songs, many of which have won awards. In 1995, he won the Calypso Song Competition, sponsored by the Bank of Butterfield, with his song entitled Bermuda. Shine later won another Caribbean song competition held by local radio station Power 95 with his song Longtails. This victory allowed him to represent Bermuda in the 15th annual Caribbean Song Competition held in Cuba, a country he loves for its vibrant culture. He placed 3rd to date as the only Bermudian to be placed. Since then, he has composed at least 30 songs, 12 of which he has recorded. In 1983, he formed his own production company, Donji Productions, and produced for 13 years annual jazz suppers at various venues around the island.
You know, to perform on a stage, you know, X number of feet away from my audiences, it doesn't really do it for me. You know, I like to be right up in their faces. I enjoy seeing the expressions on their faces. I enjoy seeing the laughter. I enjoy seeing even the tears, you know, and it becomes very meaningful and special.
In the midst of success, Shine also faced a serious medical challenge. In 1983, he suffered an illness which was later diagnosed as multiple sclerosis. This did not deter him from pursuing his music. He produced 2 single records, Look Out for Reggae Music and Longtails. In addition to his active participation in performance and composition, Shine has devoted much time to educating students. Accepting a full-time teaching post at Warwick Academy in 1995, He later became the school's director of music. In 1998, he founded the Bermuda National Youth Jazz Ensemble, which traveled to workshops with him every year, performing for charitable events. The ensemble opened for the Bermuda Jazz Festival under his direction. Between 2004 and 2009, Shine was officially made Education Officer for the Arts in the Ministry of Education. In 2007, he became president of the Bermuda Federation of Musicians and Variety Artists. Currently, he teaches music at St. George's Preparatory Primary School and to private students. In 2010, he opened Shine's House of Music and Entertainment, which, until its unfortunate closure in 2013 due to recession, offered live entertainment for the mature local and tourist audiences. He hosted international artist Nash in the first ever live concert held at Cavendish Park, as well as hosting International Jazz Day. In 1998, Shine received the Queen's Certificate and Badge of Honor. In 2005, he received a Certificate of Excellence Award for Best Entertainer and Performer from the Visitor Industries Partnership. These days, Shine is eager for new musical experiences. His recent performance at the virtual weekend festival for the Forgotten Elephants of Odisha is proof of that. Director and founder of the society, Sangeeta Iyer, recently wrote on Facebook what Bermuda's audiences have long known. Your music is magical. You're born to do this.
I'd really like to thank the Arts Council for this award. I am truly humbled by it. Having served on the Arts Council, I am aware of what goes into this selection. You know, the nominating and then the debates upon who is worthy or who's eligible or who we should choose. And being aware of so many other musicians who, in my impression, are just as worthy, if not even more so worthy of this award. I am deeply humbled, and I thank you all once again, and I am also delighted to have been selected to be amongst those who came before me to have received this award. So once again, I say to the Bermuda Arts Council, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
2020 has been a challenging year. Now, more than ever, the importance of art is evident as we find comfort and inspiration through music, movement, storytelling, and visual art forms. It is vital that we continue to celebrate the artists whose contributions have helped to shape Bermuda's community. On behalf of all the members of the Bermuda Arts Council and the team at the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs, I'd like to once again congratulate 2020 Lifetime Achievement Awardee Peter Nash and Founders Awardees Sharon Muhammad and Wendell Hayward. To echo Minister Peets' opening remarks, these three deserving Bermudians have inspired us with their creativity, commitment, and passion, and for that we are grateful.